got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Hi friends, how's it going? Time to learn how I put all my makeup on for on air. Now, if you guys have a really nice night out coming up, maybe you could use a few of the things that I'm going to show you for that. This whole routine takes about 20 minutes. And if you guys want to see what I'm up to day to day, make sure you follow me on Instagram. It's Natalie Bomke Live, and you can see what I'm up to at work. I just started using this about a year ago, and I find that it allows my foundation to glide on a little bit easier, so it's really fantastic. I've already put this on. Next up, we're using MAC's Studio Fix. I use NW22 for my particular tone, but you might be a little darker, a little lighter, but I just find that this provides great coverage for on the air. It covers all those blemishes. I've also already put this on because it can get a little messy, and when I apply this particular foundation, I use a flat foundation brush by MAC, and as you can see, this thing has gotten a lot of wear and tear. They're great brushes. I've used them for 6+ years. They're really fantastic. Okay, so once you have all that applied, I'm going to use this Banana Luxury Powder. I love the name of this, by the way. This is something that the Kardashians use. That's not why I use it. I just find that it works. And so this is going to give us a little bit of highlighting. So I tap a portion of it out onto a Kleenex. By the way, I'm going to put a link to all of these products in the video description, so you guys can just click it and go check them out, whether it's on Amazon or MAC or wherever you can find them. But most of them you can find on MAC or Amazon. Okay, so I've tapped that out. Next up, I am going to use a little Wedge foam makeup applicator, and I'm going to tap, you can see down the side of my face, that nice fine powder, and then we're gonna let it sit for a couple minutes. So we're gonna do that, and this is just gonna give us a nice highlight. Now, typically I'm doing this pretty quickly. I've slowed down just a bit for you guys. I know highlighting is very important in the makeup world, but I don't have a lot of time, and so I just kind of do a couple little highlighting things along the way. Okay, next up, we're going to use, and I love this, I just started using this about a year ago. This is Creastless Concealer. It's by Tarte, and it comes in a really nice applicator. And this is going to cover any dark circles or like indentations that you have around your eyes. So I'm just gonna tap that gently around my eye area. We don't want to do any pulling because the skin is very sensitive. You're just going to carefully blot out or spread out that product. If I get a little too much, doesn't matter. I like to go through and gently tap it with a Kleenex too, to kind of get off any excess products. You can already notice it's brightening up my eye area. Next, I'm going to go in with the Laura Mercier. This is just like a highlighting powder that you really only want to use around your eyes. I like using the banana powder down here. It's more of a warmth. This is obviously a little cooler tone. Again, I'm going to provide a link to all of this. And I'm going to use just a little wedge brush. I don't even know where I got this. I got it years ago, but it seems to work to really pick up the product and then tap it, as you can see, onto the powder, because remember, this is a little tacky, and so you're going to want something to kind of set it that's a similar color. So we're going to do that on both sides, just gently tapping and pressing in the product to make sure that it sets. I like to use this RMS highlighting cream, and I've applied eyeshadow without this. You can see I'm just using my finger here, dabbing a little bit of it on my lids. I've applied eyeshadow. Now I'm going to do something that probably some makeup experts say don't do, but I'm gently going to pull my eye up a little so that I can spread the product out. They say don't do this because, again, the skin around your eye is so delicate, so you never want to pull or tug really tough. You just want to be really easy with it because we got to keep that skin in good shape for a long, long time. Then I am going to go through with a Smashbox, and this is a photo filter powder foundation. Yes, we've already applied our liquid foundation, but this is just going to give us a smoother finish. This brush that I'm using is like a blush brush. It is also MAC, and I've had it for a really long time and I love it. Now I'm putting this Photo Filter powder foundation on the parts of my face that I've not put any other powder. So obviously we've done the powder here and we've done some highlighting powder there, so we don't want to wipe those off. We just want to gently go around those. Right. Next up, we're going to move to the eyes. We've already put on that creamy highlighter that's going to allow our shadow to stick. Two things that I've done over time that have saved me time. I only use 2 different eye palettes, okay? I know that there are a lot of people out there that like to do a lot of different crazy colors depending on their outfit of the day. I have 2 palettes that I use because I don't have time. One of the palettes that I'm going to be using today, because I'm wearing the color black, which really could be a warm or cool palette. I'm not going to tell you all of these colors. That is going to be found below in the video description. You can see all of the colors that I'm using. I'm going to use 3 of these MAC colors. These are my warm colors. So this is something that I would use if I'm wearing maybe a yellow, a red, an orange, a brown, a black. My other palette is my cool palette. And it's mixed in with a whole bunch of other colors. So again, if you want the exact colors that I'm using for my cool palette, look at the video description below. But these are going to be all mixed in with other things. So my cool palette is going to be some purples and a pink and then like a light brown that I'm going to use as an accent in the crease of my eye. So for the cool colors, mostly purple tones, and I'm going to be wearing that with purple, blue, or black. I'm going to tap into the dark color. This is a fluffy kind of like longer brush, longer bristle brush from MAC. And I'm going to go in the corner of my eye here, and I'm just going to kind of swirl the product around. So next, I'm going to go in with the lighter brown, and I'm just going to kind of smooth it out. So again, swirling motions. I'm going a little bit further into the center of my eye with this particular color, and this is just going to kind of work to blend it all together. So let's do it on this side. I feel like we need some elevator music playing. Give us a little background noise. Now I'm going to use a color that I have in this particular palette. Again, this is all my warm palette, and it's a really, really pretty gold color. So we're gonna do that, just pushing it into the center of the eyelid. So then we're gonna go back to the fluffier, longer bristled brush, and we're just gonna blend that center area where those colors all come together. Next, I'm going to take a brown or kind of like a reddish color, and I'm going to use a little shorter bristle brush. It's also kind of fluffy. This is another MAC brush, and I'm just gonna go in the crease of my eye, and this is just another little accent. It works really nicely with blue eyes or hazel eyes, I've found. Just kind of gives them that added pop, and it is another kind of dimension of color. And I'm gonna use my finger, and I'm going to just kind of shape, because what you're looking for is kind of a V almost shape with the shadow. So obviously the bottom of the V would be in the corner, so it's a little narrower, and then it kind of fans out. So I am just using my finger to go through and kind of even out what I have created here. I have another brush that you can use for concealer. I've kind of dipped it in a little concealer, and this is more of like a flesh toned concealer, and I'm just sweeping it up and to kind of bring everything up and out in case I have any like eyeshadow residue that has drifted a little lower than I want it to. And that also is going to be an effect that kind of picks your eyes up so they don't look droopy. Sometimes I'll go back in if I see that I need to, maybe this side's extended a little more than this side. I'll go back in with that fluffy brush. All right, now we're going to put on some eyeliner, but not with liquid or with any other type. We're just going to use the powder. So this is another MAC shade. This is a shade I like. It's called Beg For It. Into the Shadow Well. It's very ominous, but I love it for using it as an eyeliner. So this is another MAC brush that I picked up not too long ago. It's a very small brush, but it fits really well underneath the bottom lashes. So I'm going to just tap it in there. I've not wetted the product. I've not wetted the brush or anything. And then I'm just going to go along the bottom lashes, not inside not tight lining, but just kind of underneath the lashes. I'm just gonna press this. We can go back with that brush that has been dipped in a little concealer and just kind of pull it up and pull it up, kind of a wing effect. There we go. If I want a more dramatic look, I'll dip my fluffy brush into that dark eyeshadow, and I'll also kind of put that in the corners as well. We're gonna brush off this banana powder. You can see it's kind of had a little time to set, so it's sticking a little better than just putting it on and taking it off right away. We're gonna use this brush, and then sometimes if I notice some of my powder, the darker powder has fallen onto this area that we've lightened, then I'll kind of go through with this brush and kind of brush that away. Just kind of brighten that up. Okay, perfect. This is a trick that I learned from a makeup artist in Houston. This is a brown eyeshadow, but I'm gonna use it as a highlighter. This is called Cedar. It's a matte shadow, and I'm going to use it for highlighting. So another MAC brush that I use, I'm just gonna take that and dip it in, and you're going to kind of trace your when you smile, this area so that you can kind of form some cheekbones. Just dipping it in, the brush in, and I'm doing this. Tracing the cheekbones all the way up to almost the center of the ear, not getting it too close to the mouth. All right, now we're gonna do it on this side. All right, and then I've got another little flat brush that I'm gonna use to kind of blend it out, just so it doesn't look too stark against everything that you've already done, because it's a little darker. You have to be really careful what type of shadow, dark shadow color, brown shadow you use for this, because it can look really ruddy and bad. So I would recommend going to an expert and saying, look, I want to use an eyeshadow for highlighting, and they can recommend something. If you're not 100% comfortable with that, I have a solution. This is one of the products that I like to use, and it has a color similar to that shadow I was using, so you could also use this if you want something a little easier. I like to use this on the corners of my face, just kind of dotting it there. And again, this is just kind of sculpting your face a little bit, making certain areas more pronounced so it doesn't just look one-dimensional, right? I'm gonna put it there. I'm gonna just do a little brushing here. And then this is the most important part. I'm going to take another cheap fluffy brush that I found, and I'm going to trace the sides of my nose. And this is just gonna make the nose look a little elongated. And you're just kind of coming down to the point. Precious Petals. This is something that one of my friends at Fox turned me on to. It's very inexpensive and it lasts a super long time. You're gonna dip that same brush, you're gonna wipe it off that you used on the sides of your nose with that, that darker shade, and you're just gonna take a little bit of it and you're gonna run it down the center of your nose and then put it there. And that just, and then what I also like to do is kind of put a little up here and then put a little above my top lip, and it's just a really, really nice highlight. Okay, let's go in and do the blush. So I like to use NARS. The color is Orgasm. A little crazy, I know, but that's the color I like. There's the pink. I also have experimented with a peach shade that is really nice too. So peach or this kind of a luminous pink work really nice against my skin. I'm using a totally different brush for this. I just use this brush for blush, and I'm gonna go in between where we put the highlighter around the eye and where we put the low lighter on the cheek. A gel liner. I love a gel liner. I am terrible with the liquid liners. They just do not work for me. They're a nightmare. They never come out straight, and I have girls who I love at work, and it works wonderfully for them, and they're just very, very skilled at that, but I cannot do that. So making sure that everything's crimped and pretty. Okay, so now I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Coastal Scents, it's a fantastic website. They've got a great eyeshadow palettes. They have fantastic brushes, and it's the only place that I get my gel liner. I've tried other gel liners from MAC and other places, and they're just not dark enough, so I really love it. Comes in a little pot. This particular color is Raven, and it's coastalscents.com. I'll put the website below in the video description. This is one of their angled brushes that I'm using. It's a flat angled brush. brush, and I'm scooping out a little bit of the product. And this is a little tedious, but this is just what works for me. I scoop it out and I put it onto my hand because the product needs to be warmed so that it's smoothed. I know that some people just like to go right into the gel liner and put it directly under their eye. That does not work for me. So I'm just smoothing out the product with the tip of the brush. And then I am taking the low diagonal part of the brush and I'm gently, not tugging, just gently straightening my eye, my eyelid, and I'm painting the product right along my lash line. And you're just gonna kind of wing it out. And then sometimes I'll like to fill in that wing area a little bit. Oh, you can see what I'm doing. Perfect. All right, now let's move to the other side. Okay, mascaras. There are two that I really, really like. I used CoverGirl Lash Blast Volume for a while. Now I've transitioned to a different type, and I'm going to put the name of this one in the video description. It's by Thrive Cosmetics. I just am obsessed with it. What I love about it is it almost gives the effect, because it's got fibers in it. It's almost when you wash your face and it comes off like a rubbery. It's very interesting, but it's super solid. It's very dark. I like that. Sometimes before a show, I'll go back and kind of do a second layer of mascara if I feel like it's not enough. I have a Q-tip here. I'm going to wet it. I'm going to kind of just run it over my eyebrows. One of the things I do not do is powder or liner on my eyebrows because they're pretty dark and it's just something I don't have time for. And now let's talk about lipsticks. So I use kind of a crazy combination of stuff, but one thing that is my fail-safe that I absolutely love is this Ultimate Lip Liner. And it is in the color of Ravishing. It's a little pricey, but what I like about it is it's a softer pencil. So it's not like a harsh pencil. It glides on really easy. So I'm just gonna use it to trace. My lips, it doesn't. Perfect. I have 3 different shades of lipstick that I like to use. They're all MAC. One is Yash. And Yash, I've had it for a long time, so the label's a little worn off, but it is kind of a pinkish tone. So this is kind of a middle one. If you want more of more bang for your buck, I like to go with the Honey Love. Not bang for your buck, but I guess color potency. And you can see a lot of them are running down. I'm about due for some new colors. So this is a little darker. The Yash is kind of in the middle. And then if you want more of a browner or neutral tone, I like to go with Myth. And this one is practically gone. I'm gonna show you what I like to do here. There is a ton of product in there, if you can see, on these lipsticks that they're flat on top, but there's still a lot of product in there. So I like to use a Q-tip, stick it in my mouth, kind of wet it off so that the pieces of cotton don't get loose. And I dig it in there and I just put it on my lips. And you can do that you can get a ton of product out. Okay, so then I like to use, no matter what shade of lipstick I'm doing, I like to use Myth Gloss from MAC. So yes, it is the partner to the Myth lipstick, but I like to use it with any of these shades. I always do this. And I just kind of put it on top. And then I like to do a little highlight, a little glisten, and this is a super inexpensive product. This is an NYC gloss. It's a pink, I think it's Princess Pink is the name of it. I love that. And I'm gonna put it kind of on as well. And there you have it. There is almost the full look. The finishing touch are the eyelashes, and this is one of the things that I get asked about the most, and I've even helped a couple of the girls at work on these. So I just buy the Ardell, the cheapies that you get at pretty much any CVS or Walgreens, and I have worn these particular lashes, you're not gonna believe this, for a couple months. Yes, the same pair. You can too. You don't have to throw them away after the first use. What I'm doing is I wore these last night, so I'm gently pulling off the glue, that is already on them. I like to use this strip lash adhesive. This is something that I got at Walgreens. It lasts a really long time. You shake it out. You're just gonna put a tiny, tiny bit on there. I mean like a very, very small amount. You just squeeze a tiny bit amount and just drag it along the lash, very small amount. I like to shape it into the shape of my eye, blowing to kind of make the glue tacky. And then I'm just gonna lay it. Remember you curled your eyelashes, so you're gonna have like a little trough almost that's created. And you're just gonna gently press the lash down into it. And it's perfect, and you did it in like 2 seconds. You guys did it. Isn't that great? Yes, we did go a little longer than 20 minutes, but we got all the info in there. Again, make sure you check out my other videos. I'm going to show you how I fix my hair each day. That only takes about 10 minutes for on-air hair. It's perfect. I'm also gonna put a link to all of the products and describe each of the colors I use so you guys can pick and choose which methods work right for you. See you later. Bye.